Kate Hudson stared through the reinforced windows of Lunar Base 7 as Earth burned below. Her hands trembled on the cold metal rail. 6 hours ago, their world had been normal. Now the planet's surface turned to glass under waves of energy weapons. "Commander Hudson, we've lost contact with Singapore base," said Lieutenant Greg Walsh, his voice breaking. "Tokyo and Moscow went dark 10 minutes ago." She forced herself to breathe. The command center buzzed with panic as screens showed more cities falling. Red alert sirens wailed through metal corridors while technicians ran between stations. "What's the death count?" Kate asked, though she didn't want to know. 7 billion and rising. The bunkers, ... double quotes, to steady himself. "We estimate only 50 million made it underground in time." Kate slammed her fist against the wall. They had been so wrong about Earth's defenses. Their best weapons had barely scratched the enemy ships. Now humanity was paying the price. "Commander, look," shouted Angela Chen from the sensor station. "They're starting another attack run over North America." Massive ships moved with terrible grace, their weapons turning cities to ash. Kate had watched helplessly as New York, London, and Beijing vanished in flashes of light. Each blast felt like a knife in her chest. "Get me whatever readings you can from those ships," Kate ordered. "Energy signatures? Radiation patterns? Anything." The base shook as another wave of destruction hit Earth. Warning lights flashed across every screen. Through the windows, Kate saw pieces of orbital stations falling like burning stars. "Ma'am, we're picking up something strange," said Chen, frowning at her display. "The enemy weapons are giving off quantum distortions, but their sensors... ... She stopped, checking the readings again. "What is it?" Kate moved to look over Chen's shoulder. Their scan patterns show gaps in the quantum spectrum. Big ones. It's like they can't see those frequencies at all. Kate's mind raced. If the enemy couldn't detect quantum signatures, that meant... "Pull up the old stealth research files," she ordered. Project Ghost Shield. "Now," Walsh typed quickly, bringing up classified documents about experimental quantum cloaking technology. The project had been abandoned because it made ships invisible to human sensors too. But if the enemy had the same blind spot... "Send these files to every surviving base," Kate said. "Priority 1 transmission. Get me Dr. Richard Hayes from the Quantum Lab." She looked back at Earth, watching another city die in flames. The enemy thought they had one. They thought humanity was finished. But Kate saw something they had missed, a weakness. A way to fight back. Commander Walsh said quietly. "What are you thinking?" Kate's jaw tightened as she watched the enemy ships moving confidently through Earth's orbit. Thinking at S-time, we showed them how humans fight when we have nothing left to lose." The quantum readings blinked on screen, showing the enemy's blind spot. For the first time since the attack began, Kate felt a spark of hope. They had found a way to hide from their killers. Now they just had to figure out how to strike back. 5 years after Earth burned, Major Frank Reeves led his team through the dark halls of their quantum-cloaked ship. The enemy would never see them coming. Their vessel, barely larger than an old space shuttle, slipped between the massive warships that still patrolled Earth's orbit. 2 minutes to contact, whispered Lisa Carter, their pilot. Her fingers danced across holographic controls, guiding them toward the largest enemy vessel. Frank checked his tactical display. The quantum shield technology they'd developed worked perfectly. They were completely invisible. His team of 6 wore the latest stealth suits, each one built with the same quantum masking technology. "Remember," Frank said through the team's secured channel, "we need one of their commanders alive." Hudson's orders. The ship slid into position beneath the enemy vessel's docking port. Years of studying their patterns had taught humans one crucial thing. The enemy always followed the same routines. Every 6 hours, they cycled their airlocks for maintenance. 30 seconds, Carter reported. "They're starting the cycle." Frank watched his team. John Martinez checked his stun weapon one last time. Mary Walsh adjusted her breaching charges. They had trained for this moment for 2 years. Airlock above them opened right on schedule. Frank nodded and Walsh fired the magnetic grapples. Their ship locked silently onto the enemy vessel. "Go," Frank ordered. They moved fast, climbing through the access tube. The enemy's internal sensors were just as blind to quantum signatures as their external ones. 5 years of research and sacrifice had led to this moment. "Contact," Martinez whispered. 2 targets in sealed environmental suits. Moving past Section 4. Frank signaled his team to hold position. They pressed against the metallic walls as 2 figures walked past, completely unaware of the human strike team inches away. Why do they never take those suits off? Walsh wondered on their private channel. Frank had wondered the same thing. The enemy wore sealed environmental suits everywhere, even on their own ships. It made no sense, unless they were terrified of something. Approaching command center, Carter reported from the ship below. Life signs showed 12 inside, all in sealed suits. Frank gave the signal. Walsh planted charges on the command center's door, while Martinez readied the quantum pulse generator. It wouldn't harm humans, but they hoped it would disrupt the enemy's suit systems. 3, 2, 1, Frank counted down. Door blew inward. Martinez fired the pulse. Every sealed suit in the room sparked and failed. The enemy commanders panicked, clawing at their helmets as the room's air touched them for the first time. "Take them," Frank ordered. His team rushed in with stun weapons firing. The enemy fell quickly. Too quickly. Frank stared at the commander they'd captured, now unconscious on the floor. Without the sealed suit, he could see how fragile they really were. "Sir," Walsh said, scanning the fallen commander. "Their bone density, muscle mass. They're like someone who's lived in zero gravity their whole lives." Frank's mind raced. The enemy's powerful ships, their sealed suits, their rigid tactics. It all made sense now. They weren't gods of war. They were fragile beings who relied completely on their technology. He activated his come to the lunar base. "Right, Commander Hudson? We found their weakness. You're not going to believe it." Lieutenant Diana Martinez watched through her lab's viewport as another enemy ship exploded in Saturn's rings. The quantum virus she'd created was working better than anyone had expected. It ate through their environmental suits like acid through paper. "Status report," Commander Hudson's voice came through the comm. The lunar base had become humanity's main command center since Earth fell. "The virus is spreading through their fleet," Diana reported, checking her screens. "Every ship we've infected is showing signs of total system failure. Their crews are abandoning their posts. The massive battle around Saturn had started 3 hours ago. Human ships, cloaked with quantum tech, struck from the shadows while the enemy fired blindly into space. Their perfect formation was breaking apart. "They're broadcasting something," said Peter Ross, Diana's assistant. He adjusted the translation software they'd developed. They're calling for help, saying this is impossible." Diana moved to his station, reading the decoded transmissions. The enemy commanders were panicking. According to their records, they had conquered over 300 worlds in 50,000 years. They had never lost a battle. "They don't understand," Diana said. "They've never faced an enemy that could adapt." Through the viewport, she watched their flagship, a vessel larger than any human city, trying to maintain formation. Its crew was falling apart as the virus spread through their life support systems. Lieutenant Hudson called again. "The prisoner is talking. Says their entire empire is built on perfect order. They've used the same tactics, same technology, same battle plans for 50,000 years." Diana smiled grimly. No wonder they were breaking. Humans had changed everything about how they fought in just 5 years. The enemy couldn't handle an opponent that learned and evolved. "Ma'am," Ross suddenly shouted. "Your flagship? Something's wrong." Diana turned back to the viewport. The massive ship was turning, its engines flaring bright against Saturn's rings. But instead of attacking, it was firing on its own fleet. "They're shooting their own ships," Ross said in disbelief. The virus must have reached their command systems. The flagship S weapons tore through 3 enemy vessels before the rest of their fleet realized what was happening. Chaos erupted as ships scattered, their perfect formation dissolving into panic. "Commander Hudson," Diana called. "The virus isn't just breaking their suits, it's breaking their minds. They can't handle losing control." "Good," Hudson replied coldly. "Send the signal to all human ships. Full attack. Show them what real chaos looks like." Diana watched as quantum-cloaked human vessels appeared from nowhere, striking the confused enemy fleet from all sides. The battle was turning into a slaughter. Then her screen flashed red. New energy readings appeared at the edge of the system. "Commander," Diana said, her voice tight. "We've got incoming. Massive fleet. Bigger than anything we've seen? She checked the readings again, not believing the numbers. The enemy was bringing their entire empire to this fight. Billions of ships heading straight for Saturn. They're not running, Diana realized. They're coming to erase us completely. The space around Saturn lit up as the first wave of reinforcements arrived. The real battle was about to begin. Commander Kate Hudson stood on the bridge of humanity's newest warship, watching the battle unfold across Saturn's rings. The enemy fleet stretched as far as their sensors could see, billions of ships moving in their rigid, predictable patterns. "All ships report ready," Major Reeves said from his tactical station. "Hybrid weapons are charged." Kate nodded. The past month had been a race against time, combining stolen enemy technology with human ingenuity. Their ships now carried weapons the enemy had never seen before. "Launch the first wave," she ordered. 1,000 human ships dropped their quantum cloaks at once. The enemy fleet responded exactly as their battle computers predicted, shifting into a defensive formation they'd used for 50,000 years. "They never learn," Kate said quietly. Fired, the hybrid weapons activated. Beams of energy twisted in impossible ways, guided by human pilots who understood chaos and improvisation. Enemy ships exploded as their perfect formations became death traps. Commander Lieutenant Carter shouted from communications. "The enemy admiral is broadcasting to their whole fleet." Listen to this. The translated message played through the bridge speakers. Impossible. They changed tactics, every attack. Every ship moves differently. There is no pattern. It's no logic, no order. Kate smiled grimly. "Send them our response." Carter transmitted the message they'd prepared. "This is how humans fight. No patterns, no rules, just survival." The enemy fleet's formation wavered. Their rigid tactics fell apart as human ships struck from every direction, never attacking the same way twice. "Ma'am," Reeves called out. "Their command ships are pulling back. They're retreating." Kate leaned forward. "Not retreating. Regrouping. They're going to try something new." She was right. The enemy fleet suddenly split into smaller groups, attempting to copy human tactics. But their movements were clumsy, uncertain. They had never needed to think for themselves before. "Now," Kate ordered. "Hit their supply lines." Hidden human ships appeared behind the enemy fleet, destroying their fuel carriers and ammunition stores. The enemy commanders panicked, unused to fighting without perfect supply chains. "Their whole empire runs on exact schedules," Kate said. "Break those schedules, and they break." The battle raged for hours. The enemy tried desperately to adapt, but 50,000 years of rigid thinking couldn't be undone in a day. Their ships crashed into each other as they attempted maneuvers they'd never practiced. Then Kate saw it. Pattern in their retreat. A weakness they didn't even know they had. "All ships, form up on my position," she ordered. "I want every hybrid weapon aimed at these coordinates," Commander Reeves said, checking the target area. "There's nothing there." "Look deeper," Kate told him. "Their command network has to have a central point. It can't function without perfect communication." The sensors revealed it, a hidden relay station coordinating the entire enemy fleet. Their perfect order depended on it. "One shot," Kate said. "One shot to end this war." She raised her hand to give the order, but a warning alarm stopped her. The enemy had found something in their own scans. Something that made their entire fleet freeze in place. "Commander," Carter said, her voice shaking. "They've detected our quantum signature. They've learned how to see us." Diana Martinez knew what she had to do the moment the enemy detected their quantum signatures. She grabbed her tablet and ran through the crowded corridors of the command ship, pushing past panicking crew members. "Lieutenant, get back to your station," someone shouted. She ignored them. The enemy fleet was powering up their weapons. Without quantum stealth, the human ships were exposed. Diana reached the engine room and started connecting her tablet to the core systems. "What are you doing?" Chief Engineer Paul Baker demanded. "Saving Earth," Diana said, typing frantically. "The virus we used on their suits, I can modify it, make it bigger, strong enough to infect their entire network." The ship shook as the first enemy shots hit their shields. Above them, Commander Hudson was buying time, keeping the enemy focused on the battle while Diana worked. "It'll burn out every system it touches," Baker warned, including ours. Diana nodded. "I know, but but it'll hit them harder. They can't function without their network. We can. She connected the final cables. Her hand shook as she entered the launch codes. The virus would use the ship's quantum core to spread, but the feedback would be lethal. Clear the engine room, Baker shouted to his crew. Everyone out now. Diana's tablet showed the virus uploading. The enemy fleet grew closer on the monitors, their weapons charging. They thought they had won again. Commander Hudson, Diana called through her com. Get our ships away from the relay station as far as you can, Diana. Hudson's voice was tense. What are you doing? Improvising, Diana said. Like humans do. She hit the final key. The virus launched, riding the quantum wavelengths straight into the enemy's command network. The engine room erupted in sparks. Get out. Baker grabbed her arm, but Diana pulled away. I have to make sure it spreads, she said. I have to keep the core running. Through the viewport, she watched the virus hit the enemy fleet. Ships began spinning out of control as their systems crashed. The perfect network they relied on turned against them. The engine room was burning now. Diana held her position, keeping the quantum core active as the virus spread further. The enemy fleet fell into chaos. Then she saw their retreat signal. Not just some ships, but their entire fleet. They were running from the solar system. Diana smiled as the flames reached her station. The virus had worked. Humanity had won. 1 week later, Commander Hudson stood on Earth's surface for the first time in 5 years. The enemy ships were gone, leaving only warning buoys at the edge of human space. The translated message was simple: beware. Humans do not fight with logic. Humans do not follow rules. Humans are unpredictable. She looked up at the sky where Diana's sacrifice had saved them all. The enemy's perfect empire had finally met something they couldn't understand: human determination. Commander Major Reeves called from behind her. The recovery teams found something in the ruins. Old data centers still intact. And there's more. More what? More humans, he said. The bunkers protected more than we thought. Millions more. They're coming up now. Hudson watched as people emerged from the ground, stepping into sunlight for the first time in years. Earth wasn't dead. It was ready to rebuild. This time they would be ready if anyone else thought humans were easy targets.